Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Girl Get Up podcast. I am your host, the Aquarian Chancellor, and this is the podcast where I share my stories. I bring my guests on, they share their stories, all in hopes that inspires you, the listening audience, to go out and discover your infinite possibilities. Now, today I have a special guest. Her name is Hevadeer Johnson. Heather, please share with the audience who you are and what you do.
Well, thank you so much. And then thank you also again for having me. My name's Hevadeer Johnson. I am a graphic designer turned marketing director for Polaris brand promotions. I do experiential marketing, and I have been helping our company raise brand awareness for multiple clients for a long time. But my history and love is in the arts and graphic design.
We was just talking about that.
Yeah, I know. I was loving the art behind you. We were just being creative souls is just such a nice connection.
Yeah, so I know a special person who would love to hear that. So I'm gonna make sure she hears it.
Yes, please.
Okay, so now that you shared who you are and what you do, could you talk about, before we get into the real details, I want to know a little bit about your journey into marketing. Like you said, you do have a background in art. So what's that like for you? Were you always creative as a child? Could you share that with us?
Oh, yes. I haven't thought about this in a while, but when I was younger, my mom always had, I'm one of four, oldest, and we always were doing crafts in the house. That was one thing that she really got us into. And when I figured out what my favorite craft was, it was collaging. I loved looking at the magazines and seeing how the advertisements were put out. And I remember thinking, okay, if I was in charge of this, I would make it a lot prettier. And as I grew up, I realized, wait a minute, that could actually be something. So I went to college for graphic design, and my favorite is to do editorial and event design, which translated really well into how I interact with the world. So I do a lot of graphic design in front of my computer, and I needed to still get out into the world and see people. So I picked up brand activations and was a brand ambassador for multiple companies. The one that I ended up settling with was Polaris brand promotions. And I still feel like I get to do my artwork there. Obviously, I get to, and I'll talk to you about that, our biggest project currently in a minute. But the lead up to it was very creative. I started my own brand freelance graphic design agency in Philadelphia. That's Hevadeer Designs. My goal was to get professional design work for small businesses and minority businesses that couldn't maybe afford it back then. And things are different now with AI, but at the time, I wanted to make sure that everybody had a chance to be able to get this type of graphic design work. So I was with an agency that did larger work, and then I started my own agency and did that. When COVID hit, everything
Mhm.
changed. A lot of my clients were like, well, we don't really even know what we need our work for right now. We don't know what we need to be doing promotion for. So I pivoted and I started creating art for myself and going to art festivals and selling that type of work. And eventually the brand activation started again. And that's how I got involved with Polaris brand promotions.
Okay. Could you educate us a little bit? Now, when you say graphic design and you also said like work, what does that look like in practice? Is that like flyers? Is that the ads that we see that come in the mail? Like, could you share with us so we can visualize what graphic design how that meets with promotions and brand awareness?
Yes. So graphic design itself is the study of communication design. You can do art for art's sake. Always, please, always, everybody do that. But the graphic design usually has a message to go along with it. And whether that is something that you want, your message could be very personal. It could be for advocacy. Or if you're doing it on behalf of another person, it might be advertising what they're doing. So there's a company, my friend who I work with in New Jersey, she does women empowerment groups every year. And so I do the graphic design behind that is the flyer. It's also the brochure. It's her website. It's everything involved around that. And the branding itself is so important because it's the what leaves the lasting memory in the end. So yes, graphic design is very much telling a story, and then it works into brand activations because of how important little pieces and details of your history should be included in the artwork that is depicting and giving first impressions of your brand.
You are the marketing director for Polaris Brand Promotions. Share with the audience how you help businesses reach thousands of new customers who want to experience new products and services.
I'm very proud to be working with Polaris Brand Promotions. We're a nationwide marketing agency, experiential marketing, and promo staffing. So, what we do is when brands come to us and they're like, we have this really cool idea. We want to, you know, promote in multiple different markets, and we want to make sure that the signage is the same for all of them and the messaging is the same. And whatever the kits are, the product could be anything. It can be food and beverage, it can be electronic, it can be a service, whatever it is. We turn around and we put together a team that is able to activate in whatever market that the brand is interested in. So, as marketing director, what I do is both on the side of the agency, try to tell people about what we do. A lot of people might not, and I was surprised by this, but it's because I had a background in being a brand ambassador that it made me realize that it's important for people to know what that even means. And because, you've got brand ambassadors, you've got influencers, you've got, just regular people who are fans of the product. But a brand ambassador might be the person that you walk into a store and they've got a table set up and they're offering samples. What our agency does is make sure that it's not just, like how at Costco, they just kind of give you the sample and that's the end. We tell a story with our brand promotion. So we'll be giving you the sample, but we're also going to be telling you like the important details about the company, the stuff that they care about the most. Like, maybe it's uh, an organic product. And they're like, yes, but we've got cheese. But there's thousands of cheese in the world. So what makes us stand out is that everything on our farm is organic and our farm is in New Jersey. And so this is a local farm that you're supporting. And you won't normally get that just by passing a logo on the shelf or scrolling on, DoorDash or whatever. It wouldn't be DoorDash. It would be a grocery delivery service. But yeah, that messaging is so powerful. So I need to bring our agency in front of those brands to be like, we can help you. We can
Mm.
help you break into new markets on a more cost efficient way with methods that will help spread that brand awareness that you care so much about. I love working with small businesses. They're, just like maybe it's a husband and a wife and they're like, okay, we did it. Now how do we get it out there? I love going and being like, I know how, let me help you.
We're going to get there in a minute.
Yeah.
A question because when I first started, for me, I focus on storytelling and help businesses, small businesses like you, get on a platform, especially solopreneurs who aren't used to public speaking, who want to get out there and get comfortable with sharing their story. But as I started to learn how to position myself, there is a huge difference between marketing and branding that people may not understand. Could you share a little bit about that?
Branding is your identity. So it is your core values, it is your mission statement, it is why you do this. Those are all words and sentences that you would write out. So then your branding is the colors that you use to provoke those feelings that your mission statement creates. It could be the logo, the fonts that you use, the composition of it, your icon. Whether you're using a flower in your icon tells a totally different story than if you're using very blocky characters.
Mhm.
So the branding is the visual identity of all of those words that you would use to describe your company. The marketing is then taking that branding and being like, guess what this all means? Let's share the story with you. And that there's always storytelling within the branding. I love that you said that because it is true. You have a story, whether you start a business, especially if you're doing it alone and you're breaking into a market. It's so exciting. It's very exciting. And you want to be able to share that with both like speaking about it, but also like, here it is, and being able to maybe have like a media kit that's put together with all of your branding in it. And immediately they're like, oh, this is extremely like bright and vibrant. This person's got a lot of energy. This is the message that it is. Versus maybe there's somebody, you're using eco-friendly packaging and you're like, oh, this is very earthy type of thing. Those are very general statements that I just said. Like you can be both. Um, but yeah, that's the difference a little bit between the two. One comes before the other. You should definitely have your branding first before you start to go market.
Okay. That makes perfect sense. Thank you.
Mhm,
Polaris was founded in 2016.
mhm.
What's the gap in that promotional space that Polaris had wished to serve?
Yes. So when Al started the company, so my boss of the company is Al Schuster. He is the owner, founder, and president of Polaris Brand Promotions. And he was realizing that there was a better way to do this type of industry work.
Mm,
Um, Working with brand ambassadors means that you're hiring local talent from the areas in which you want to increase your marketing and your brand awareness. So you might start on the East Coast, but eventually you want to branch out and start going, having setups in California. Maybe you're going to trade shows that are across the whole country and it's just you. How do you do that? You could always hire teams. People quite often hire their friends and family. Of course, support that too. Have your community, so lean on them for support. But I was noticing that there was people who were unable to get to the point of branching out. If you don't have a community, how do you, and maybe your community is all on the East Coast, how are you going to get them to California? Are you going to fly everybody there? That's expensive. So maybe you would fly yourself and hire an agency that would have local talent that you could interview and vet ahead of time. But this is where the disconnect was. How do you get those people who are very talented brand ambassadors of all walks of life? We've got bartenders, actresses, singers, podcasters like you. Everybody can go out and be like, if they're very passionate about branding, they can come and be a brand ambassador. So we needed to connect the brands with those people as well as those people with the opportunities. And so he saw that there was an opportunity to do a nationwide marketing agency that can do this. And yeah, that's kind of how it was born.
yeah. What was the significance of using the local talent in the area you wish to market?
So often, marketing and why I love experiential marketing so much is because regular advertising or even digital ads can feel like they're talking at you. And
Mm,
experiential marketing, if you have people out there, and experiential marketing just means that you're creating an experience with the marketing. So there's
mm,
often the human touch there where there's somebody that you can actually speak to. Hiring local talent is important because even though it might not be the person who started the company speaking to you, it is somebody within your own community now giving you that messaging. People sometimes can be like very turned off if they, maybe you're going to a small town, but you're so used to living in a city that the way that you're speaking is city talk. And then the local people are like, okay, I don't know, you're not from here. Like that still exists. So hiring local talent can also give you like that personal touch of the city too, of wherever the market is, not just the personal touch of having a real, human who you're speaking with. So that's one reason. And another, the one that I love is that we're creating jobs all over the country.
mm,
Um, and it's nice to be able to hire their contract workers that, they can pick up shifts when they need to. So it could be good for teachers during the summer. It could be good for parents who, the kids are in school. They're like, okay, I don't know if I want to commit to a full-time job, but I can be doing this gig work. So yes, you're getting people who want to be out there speaking. And they're from the community itself. So it's kind of like having these little influencers all over.
yes. Okay. All right. I want to go back to the brand ambassador and I want to define what a ambassador is versus just a model,
Yeah.
and I want to also ask you, why is the difference between the two? Why is it so significant for creating a brand experience that is memorable?
Okay. So, yeah, brand ambassadors can be called many different things in the industry. They used to be called promo models. They still are. They still are, but more often the industry uses the term brand ambassador now because they are being an ambassador of your brand. They're being a extension of you and your story and your company. And in order to do that, they need to act like they are part of your company. So they are basically doing ambassading work on your behalf. Back when I was starting, I was called a shot girl. I was called, like promo model, different things like that. I love brand ambassador because it just ties into marketing in a better way. Those uh, atmospheric models and stuff, there's a place and there's a time for them. And yes, please go do that if that's something that you would rather, be there and you are kind of acting like a model. There's openings for those type of work. But we use the general term brand ambassador because it is creating that type of interaction. So bringing the unique, memorable experience aspect into it. It's somebody who is able to talk to whoever is around them in whatever setting they are on behalf of your brand. Usually that means outgoing. You want to keep it upbeat because you are, professionally representing a brand that might not be yours, but as long as you are staying authentic with it, um, you're doing your own little marketing team effort while you're doing this. So being able to speak to anybody is very important. Sometimes that's why we kind of get away a little bit from like the modeling because you aren't just there to be um, to serve as like a visual representation unless you are hired to do that. We do also have people who walk around in very like there's like champagne dresses where their only job is to like look very cool because they're hired to make the vibe more interesting and magical, and then they might hand it to you. But a brand ambassador is going to talk to you. They're going to tell you about the brand. They're not just going to hand you something. So we pride ourselves on having individuals who can be trained by our team to go out there and act very professionally as if they are part of your company.
Yes, that's a very important distinction. Very important. Okay. Polaris focuses on creating that connection again because that was a very important element that was missing.
Yeah.
What's that secret of understanding how to develop that connection with the potential customers?
So the being able to speak to anybody thing is actually a power. It's a very powerful ability from all of our brand ambassadors because you might be set up in a store that has so much traffic that you're just like, whoa, they're zooming by me. You need to be able to reach out and be like, hey, I've got samples of this brand new product. Would you like to try it? Maybe you can get, if you buy a bottle of this, you get this. If you buy this food product here, you get a discount right now. And it's being able to make that connection immediately with people. But rejection happens quite often. So being able to be like, if people are like, no, 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 sometimes they can be just in a rush. Maybe they know what they're there to buy and they're just hurrying on, or maybe they've got kids and they're just like, we got to stay focused. But being able to do that and be like, okay, and move on to the next person and be like, do you want to try it? That kind of ability, it can be intensive. So it's for at least maybe 2 to 3 hours, you're out there activating and you are on. So being able to do that and being able to turn that on is a high value for this. But in the end, it's creating those touch points that the brand would never get to get without you, without us, without this type of branding. So making sure that they're sharing the story is the most important.
Absolutely right. I know I have been in the store and like you said, with the little ones, and it's like, listen, come on, we got to get in and get out. But it is that interaction. A compliment always sparks that
Yes, yes,
conversation.
yes.
That is so much more effective than just sitting on the shelf where you don't have that voice, where you don't have a visual, maybe like you said, a T-shirt or something like that that says, let me see what this person has. It might be something that I need. So you are absolutely right.
I like to have fun with it. You're out there, you're talking to real people. Why not engage a little bit And not just do like, we never want to be the person, the brand ambassador who's like, buy this, please, buy this now. Never, never. That's why we interview all of our brand ambassadors before they ever go out in the field, just to make sure they can speak and have those real engaging conversations. The other side of it is that we as consumers like to care about what we are buying and supporting because money is power. So
Mhm.
if you get to hear the story behind the brand and be like, oh, this is a women-owned company, I would never have known unless I flipped over the package, um, which not everybody does, especially in grocery stores when it is a chore sometimes. Um, Learning that now you're like, oh, I actually really care about this. I want to be part of what like the brand itself, what you're creating, because now I know it's women owned, and what else are you doing? And so then you might learn about some kind of initiative that's on the back end of donations and different things like that. So
Mhm.
then the consumer and the shopper gets to feel like they're part of something bigger.
Yeah.
And that's when money is power and you want to make sure it's being given to the people who you want to support. Um, Being a brand ambassador or hiring brand ambassadors to be like, listen, we're not just like another company trying to, swindle you. We actually really care. All of our, we have no sugar. We care about health and diet, and there's recipes on our website. You have a brand ambassador, even if they're not handing out anything and they're just sharing that, suddenly it makes your company stand out.
Yeah, you know what I because I had a chance to look at your website. You know, one of the things that I loved, and I know it's coming soon, is the fact that you guys have a sample finder. So I was like, "Oh, this is so cool," because, I'm looking for a beauty product.
Yep.
I know if I could go to your website, it's like, "Okay, well, let me see if I can find a sample of that product before I buy." So
Yeah.
I'm so excited that that is coming.
Thank you. Yeah, that is our app that we are launching in April. SampleFinder, both Al and I are co-founders. That was really exciting for me to be asked to be a co-founder of it. I designed the app, and it's an experiential marketing app that promotes those brand activations so that you do know what's in your area. And maybe it will be health and beauty as well, even pet products. So you could see like, hey, I'm going to go and try this new thing at the store that's right around the corner. And then the app is also like, it makes it, and there's incentives, there's rewards and points for trying new things. So experiential marketing on a different level.
Okay. Can small business owners, like, submit an application if they want their products to be a part of yours inventory?
Yes, yes. This is why I'm so excited about this app that we're doing. First of all, Polaris brand promotions, we have no minimums. So that's specifically for small businesses. Because there's some businesses that do contracts, to each their own, but they'll be like, it's a full year contract and you have to do this many activations. We're like, no, you don't. You can use us for just maybe your busy season is in December and you're like, okay, I really need just three people, three events in 1 year. Is that okay? Yes. We will make it so that you do not have to do some giant, exorbitant marketing fund to get your name out there. That's number one. And then number two, on the SampleFinder app, we're not doing a pay to play type of
Oh,
thing where whoever pays the most gets to show up on top. It is strictly by the user's choices, their preferences of where they are in the world, whatever's closest to them, whatever's next time wise, and whatever category they're interested in. So small businesses can show up ahead of the larger businesses in this context and are treated equally and fairly.
yeah, that's gonna be so good. Okay. You serve both small businesses, we were just talking about that, and bigger brands. What advice would you give solopreneurs who want to create an impactful experience on smaller budgets?
Smaller budgets can go far. You do not need to do the big flashy signage and everything. It's fun. And we have clients who come to us and they're like, all right, we want to do this and we want to have banners behind everybody. And we're like, this is going to get expensive quickly. So why don't we try it this way? And really all you need is, um, well, first of all, we cover most of the supplies for you. So we're going to provide the tablecloth, the sample cups or napkins, whatever, all of that stuff. When you work with us, our hourly rate will cover all of that. So you don't even have to worry about shipping out product or anything. We'll even just buy it in the store, and maybe we'll be like, okay, we need to reimburse us for the product that we used for the sampling. But otherwise, we've got a setup fully ready to go for you. So that takes all of that like material type of effort out of it.
Mm.
Um, and it makes it so much more affordable because that can go a long way when you have a black tablecloth that is interrupting the grocery store aisle. So now people are paying attention because it's not as bright and flashy, and your logo and your product is displayed on it. That already, and that's just the basics. That already is setting you up for success. So there's ways to do it on a budget, that being the easiest. And we're always going to put you first in that. We're going to set you up in the best case scenario that we can when we're on site, as long as the grocery store or the retailer location or whoever it is like gives us permission, because we very much care about our retail partners. Um, we will make sure that we can do that for you. There's also other opportunities. Like, one thing that we did was for several hours, we walked around the tailgates at,
Mhm.
like, we're in Philadelphia. So we went to all the stadiums and we literally just walked around with a wagon with the product and handed it out. The cost for the client was the hours of the people and the product. That was it. We did everything. We just handed everything out. We didn't need to have some big flashy sign. People were looking at us because they're like, who's walking around with a wagon? What are they handing out? They're flocking to us. Suddenly we're something special. Oh, they're coming this way. Who is it? What do they have? That's a low budget, surprisingly, thing, because we can show up in the tailgates and it's okay. So street teams is really what that would fall under. Street teams are, even just people who walk out and put flyers up for you. There's ways to make it work, and to make it memorable. Really, anything creative that you dream up is possible. You just got to find the right team to back with you.
Yeah. What I like about what you were saying, having the ambassadors and being right there in the center, is that it gives you the opportunity to collect the data that you need to feed back to the businesses to say, hey, this is what worked well. That said, now that we're in the age of technology and AI, how is Polaris Brand Promotions able to utilize technology and, AI to further the engagement, feedback to the businesses so that they can increase revenue?
Yeah, technology is super important. AI it's exploded. I have my own some ethical issues with it, but there are ways that it can work for you. One thing that we do with exactly what you're saying, consumer data, we use an industry standard platform that helps us collect and provide recap forms for all of our brands after the fact. So you're going to find out for this particular time period how many people were there, their demographic information, a little bit about their age, maybe just age ranges, what their comments were, what they actually said, how many people bought it, how many was even on the store when you arrived, just to make sure that you can check your inventory. We try to give all of that behind the scenes speak. With the app, we're going one step further, that we're going to connect the actual shoppers with the brands themselves. So now we've got on one side of the table the brand ambassadors being like, okay, this many people filled it out. This is so exciting. I gave out 50 coupons. The user's not going to know at the end of the day how many coupons the brand ambassador gave out, but the brand cares. Oh, this many people use the coupon. Well, now with the app, when it gets launched, the user will be able to be like, oh, okay, I'm going to leave a review on here. And so you can say, I liked it. I liked this about it. I bought it. Yes, I did use the coupon. Yes, I did buy it. Can you please get more in stock? Like, we'll moderate the comments there, but you can write a message to the brand. And so that kind of just brings the brand and the people who are buying the brand closer together and feeling like, we're not necessarily a family, because parasocial relationships exist, but like we're a unit where you care about me, I care about you.
That said, it brings the personal and digital experience together, and it's an easier way to stay connected. So I'll open up the floor for you, Heather, if you want to share more information about what you do, share more information about any initiatives that Polaris Brand Promotions have coming up. And even if you all are looking to open up the door for small businesses to come in, here's the time to send that invitation.
Okay. Yes. Yes. Well, the main project that we're going to have launching is SampleFinder. That's been in development since last year. We got to go to CES in Vegas and debut it as well, which is the Consumer Electronics Show, and then the National Retail Federation or Foundation's big show in New York City. So it's been really exciting for me to be like, oh, I'm on these like huge, huge locations talking about this app that I designed. So that's been really cool. Please check it out, samplefinder.com when it launches in its SampleFinder app on social media. So if you're a small business and you're interested in either finding services that we do, that is Polaris Brand Promotions. So the app is by Polaris Brand Promotions. That's polarisbrandpromotions.com. And if you're a small business and you just want to like get some advice, you can reach out. We're a small, very tight knit corporate side. There's 4 of us. We have an amazing operations team who goes and handles all of the logistics, and they are on call. Actually, if you do events with us, anytime you have an event, we're on call. So it's never happening just off, and we find out what happens later. We are fully involved in the process, even if it's on. I mean, we're on the East Coast. Even if it's on the West Coast, we'll be staying up all hours to make sure that every event that we do pays off. And if you want just advice to see, like, all right, I'm starting to think about this because we just got distribution. So we're starting, not yet, we're not in stores yet, but we're gonna be. How can we start the conversation? Yeah, we're open to just like having a little meeting and having a phone call. We like to share our expertise. In the end, that's why we're launching the SampleFinder app, because you don't even have to use our agency to do the events to be on the app. We want to keep it open. So maybe you're a small brand who's like, all right, I'm popping up at this festival. It's just me and my sister, but we're popping up at this festival and we're giving out, I don't know, honey. Like we do our own honey. We want to be on your app, but we are not hiring a whole team because it's just me and my sister. Then we're okay. Then let's talk about it. Let's put your festival on the app. And if you're handing out samples, as long as you're giving something away for free, because that's for the users, we can work with you. So no limit. Everybody's got to start somewhere, and we're happy that we can be with those like, huge companies alongside smaller companies that are just starting. That is really why I love what I do.
Do you all have a avenue to work with people who might sell digital products?
Yes, it doesn't have to be a physical thing, that is your product. So on the sample finder side, if you're giving away, maybe you're like, all right, I'm giving out stickers or something, something small, like maybe, I don't know, like whatever it is. Maybe you're setting up a photo shoot type thing and you're like, get your photo with this and then download our service. It's a digital service. We support that as well. We'll help people sign up for it. We can help you with lead generation. We can, we don't just do the in-store grocery stores. That is one of what we do. It's a major part of what we do, but we do trade shows. So if you're trying to show up on a more global or national stage and your product is digital, but you still need that person who's talking about what it is, that's where we would come in to help you.
So I just want to make sure that we clearly give out your socials and wherever you want people to come and connect with you.
Yes, thank you. So our agency is polarisbrandpromotions.com. On socials, it's Polaris Brand Promotions. I am the person who's often looking at all of the DMs. So if you reach out, that would most likely be me. And Sample Finder you can find it through Polaris Brand Promotions because it's a service that we offer, but it is samplefinder.com and Sample Finder app on socials.
Okay, Sample Finder apps on Instagram. Sample
Yes.
Finder. All right. Okay, so Heather, I'm going to put you on the spot just a little bit.
Okay.
On the outro, I always ask all of my guests
Okay.
to please give the audience your inspirational words of wisdom to help them believe in their infinite possibilities.
Oh, I love this. Yes. I'm going to start by saying that whatever is inside of you, whatever is calling to you, pay attention to it. It's not just your intuition, it's your own heart speaking to you about what direction you should be going. So if you're starting a business, make sure that you're starting with all of your values leading the way. The decisions that you have to make are going to get tougher and tougher as you gain more success, I should say, like, or as you're more into the world. As the more the world is involved, the decisions are going to become different and varied. So just stay true to you. When you first start something, what is your mission statement? That's so important. Stick with it. Make sure that what you are interacting with and how you're in those spaces, showing up in those spaces is authentic to you, because people are going to respond to that down the line. Showing up the way that you think people want you to show up might feel like the right decision to do, but if you're not being authentic to you, if you're not going to end up loving what you do at the end of the road. So whether it's starting your own business or maybe starting just your own platform, or starting to think about maybe you want to be an artist, or you want to be a singer, or whatever, however you're going to express your creativity and bring it to the world, you're going to have to enter the corporate space. Unfortunately, that's just how it works. And a little bit of capitalism. So staying and making sure that what your decisions that you're making are reflecting of your heart and soul that you're putting into your art is, I think, key. Then when you are, 3 years into it and you're making decisions, it'll be gut. Like, it'll be just so practiced that you know what you want to do. And I promise whoever's following you is going to care about that.
Thank you, Heather. With that, I am going to let the audience go. I'm going to send you off the right way, but take care. Have a good one. We will see you next episode.